Alright guys, right now you're going to learn about print statements, and in this video I'm going to show you how input and output works in Python and how to use it when you're programming. So basically, let's get into it. Input is basically what we'd have set from users so that we can use the data that they give us to help us to write our programs, and output is the feedback the programs would give to users, and the users may not just be like regular people but also the programmers themselves, because as you can imagine, programmers need to see what the programs are doing so that we can know how to debug them and fix them and check them for errors and all these kind of stuff. So let's get into it and show you how that is done in Python. First, let's talk about um, printing out stuff first, output in Python. So let's talk about output. So in Python, the way that we output stuff, output data, the way that we output data in Python is by using print, right? This print statement, and whatever I pass into it, it will output it, and typically that will be like strings or variables. So let's try it with a string first. So if I say my name is Steve, right? When I save this and run it, this program, Python program, it will actually print out my name, Steve. Let's see that. So let me save it here and print this Python print FUI. My name is Steve, and you see it works because it prints out to the console here. So remember, when you output stuff, it comes out here as there's a feedback to the user in our console, right? So that's outputting data using print. Now, this print statement here that Python has, it's very flexible. You can do a whole bunch of different things with it. So for example, if I create a variable, let's create a variable. Alright, you see me create variables in the other videos. So let's create a other variable. Let's say action action one equal swimming. Oh yeah, steal. I like that one. Stealing. Let's say stealing, I don't know, chicken. Children, Jesus, no. Chicken. So let's steal chicken. Let's say we're playing a game and we're stealing chicken. Now, if I make another print statement here and go print, right, and print action one, it is going to output that I'm stealing chicken. And this is a variable, and if I pass this variable here, action one, into print, it will print out what's in this variable. So I'm actually remove that one, the first one, and then print this one here. So now if I save this and run this, I'm going to get stealing chicken. Now I could also print like multiple strings together. So let's show you how that works in a second. So I'm going to go, let's do action 2 equal uh, uh, drinking water. So to print multiple strings in this print statement, the way that the print statement works is that each string that I can print out in this print statement is actually going to be separated by commas here in this print statement. So let me show you what I mean. So I have action 1 here, and then action 1, if I go action 1 comma action 2, right, and then comma whatever other string I want to have, how many number of strings I want to have in this print statement, it will print out each of these strings um, on one line, but in reality they're separate strings. So this is one string, action 1, then action 2 is another string, and let's say if I add another string here, let's say I don't know, um, mixing potions. I played way too much games earlier. Mixing potions. So now this print statement is seeing 3 different strings, and when I print it out, it's going to print all this out as one long thing. But Python knows that it's as one long string, but Python knows that these are actually in reality 3 different strings. And how does it know that? Because at the end of each string, it puts this comma in the print statement. You put this comma in the print statement to tell Python that, hey, this is one string, and that this is another string, and that this is another string. So let's try that. So if I would print this out, as I said earlier, should do that one long string on a line. So I should see seeded chicken, drinking water, mixing potions, all one long string smashed together. There we go. Stealing chicken, drinking water, mixing potions. Now, I don't necessarily like my strings smashed together like that. So our print statement here has a few different options to help us with like the formatting of our strings. Um, what? So now, actually before that, so now just to make this a little bit tidier, what you could do is to make this a little bit tidier. Maybe I want both these actions to be in one string. So maybe I want both of these actions to be in one string by themselves instead of 2 separate strings. I could go let's say action action 3 equal, and so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to join um, the strings action 1 and action 2 together. And the way that I'm going to do that is by using a plus sign. So in Python, you have what we call a string concatenation, or joining strings together. And the way that you do it is, one way that you can do it is by using a plus sign. So literally, I'm going to go action 1 plus action 2. And this is going to be one action now. Still going to be joined together like this, but instead of having action 1, action 2, I just have one action. So I'm going to call this now action 3, and I'm going to pass action 3 here. And if you notice, when I save this and run this, same things happening. Stealing chicken, drinking water. This one is actually smashed together because it's just joining the 2 strings together with no space. But don't worry, we can fix that. We can fix that. But I just wanted to show you how it would look. So I'm actually going to put it back where it was before. Okay, I'm going to put it back to where it was before. I'm going to actually get the action tree. I just want to show you how we could join strings together in Python. Okay, so now this is what I have, and as I said, I don't really like this. Where these strings are just being one long string that is together, kind of looking weird. So the way that we can do this is that we can actually use the parameters that are in the print function here. So the print function, or this print statement, actually has some parameters. One of them happens to be sep, SEP, which stands for separator. And what it does is that wherever you have a string in your print statement, wherever these commas are in the print statement, if you put like a symbol here or something, a letter, a number, whatever you put inside this, wherever these commas are, when it's opening them, it will actually throw in this symbol. So so let me show you what I mean. Suppose I had, like, instead of like a blank space here. So currently I have a blank space here. If I were to run this, it would still be a blank space as is, because the blank space is at default option, right? But now if I don't know, I'd like a full stop, or let's add like a forward slash, right? If I add this forward slash here in the step, wherever these commas are in the print statement, these actions would run, and then this forward slash would appear after each action, except for this last one. So let's try that. So you can see here, stealing chicken. Remember, stealing chicken was the first action, forward slash. Action 2, drinking water, forward slash. And after mixing portion, there's nothing because that's the last string. Yeah. So this is one way we can format our strings using sep. And sep means separator. You tell Python what symbol you'd like to separate the strings. And I could do this with also full stop or even question mark. Let's try with a question mark. Right, let's see how that looks. Okay. Stealing chicken, drinking water, mixing portions, and that. This is what it would look like with um question marks. Then we'll also have other options. So I'm going to go with like another one, which is end. And end is this end one. What it does is that it quite literally whatever the last portion, whatever the last string is in this print statement. After that last string in this print statement, you can add on another string to go at the end. So let's say after all my actions here, I want to say no, I am going to feed my dog Spot. Now I'm going to feed my dog Spot, and if I were to if I were to run this, it's going to run these three actions. Keep in mind that I have a question mark here as my separator, so it's going to run these three actions, and so I should get action 1, which is stealing chicken, question mark, drinking water, question mark, mixing portions. I won't get anything after the mixing portions, and then after that I'm going to get, now I'm going to feed my dog Spot. Okay, so that's what I should get. So let's see it in action at the end of the string. So remember, that's what I'm supposed to get. Stealing chicken, question mark, drinking water, question mark. Don't get anything after mixing portions, because the last string that was here in this print statement before we started adding the parameters, and I get the string at the end. Now I'm going to view my dog Spot. Okay. So that there are other, like, what do you call it now? Um um parameters for this print statement or function. Like you have file and flush, but like these are the ones that people commonly use to format print statements or output statements in Python. And these are the ones that people use commonly. So I can also print out variables and show that earlier. Print out variables by themselves, right? Among other things. But that's the basics of like using print statements in Python to show output. So now let me actually get rid of that and just have this one here. So I'm going to have action 1. Remember I was saying earlier that I want to separate, I can actually join two actions together or two strings together by using plus. So I could do action 1 plus action 2 and it would print it. So let's see that in action. Stealing chicken, drinking water. Alright. Now this terminal is actually getting kind of crowded. So before I move on, I'm actually going to clear my terminal. Yeah. It's getting kind of crowded here. Hopefully that made sense. At least how outputting data works in Python, that made sense. Alright, now let's talk about input. So, like I said before, I'm coming to all this. So like I said before, inputting data is basically trying to get the data from the user. So the user would be either you the programmer or somebody else that's using your program. Your program is trying to get data that it can then use to actually do what it's supposed to be doing, whatever it is that you wrote the program to do. So in my case here, I'm just want to receive an input from the user, right? So let's say I want a program that gets at the name and the age of the user, right? Um, name, age, and school. Alright, let's get the name first. So you might be like, how do I do that in Python? Well, all I have to do is create a variable. Create that variable. So let's say I want the name of the user first. I want the name equal, and then input. And what you need to input now is the way that input works is that it prompts the user to enter their information. Right, so I can prompt the user to enter something by putting in what I would like them to enter. So let's say I want them to enter their name, I can prompt them to enter their name. Enter your name. And then whatever they enter as your name gets stored into this variable here, the name. And then I can use this name variable once I get this data from the user to do anything with it as you would normal variables. So for example, let's say I just want to print out let's say your name is your name is, and I can show the user what entered as the name. And if I run this, this will work. So let's say that in action, right? So print that py. If you notice though, when you run it and you use input, the program is going to come to a pause until the user actually enters something, or until the program crashes. So right now the program is pausing because it's waiting for me to enter some. So let's say my name was Bob the Builder, right? When I enter Bob the Builder, this name variable gets Bob the Builder as the value as its value, and then now you can use this name variable to do other things because it's a regular variable at the end of the day. So you can use it to do anything you want once the user gives you that information. And I can also do it for like a school. So let's say I want the school that the user is attending. This person is attending. So it could be like enter your school. Your school is, and I'm going to change this to school, and then I can use your school is school, and this works. So remember, do you want to get input from users? You have to type in the prompt that you want them to you have to type in a prompt for them to actually put in the information, and then it's going to pause until they enter that prompt, enter a response to that prompt, I should say. So you're asking for the school, it's going to pause until they type in the name of the school that they're going to. And whatever they type in becomes the new variable. So let's try it for the school now. Enter your name, Stefan, or actually Steven. Your name is Steven. Enter your school. Let's say I go to the school. Let's say I go Ridge Valley High School. Is that a real school? I'm just making up names. Ridge Valley. That's the name of the school. Ridge Valley School. So you can see Ridge Valley, Stephen. Now you might be like, okay, this is good and all. Now, can I use this to enter numbers? And the answer to that is yes. But there's a caveat with entering numbers. You see, input really only works with strings. So when I use it to store numbers, you're going to see a little weird behavior occur, and I'm going to show you that right now. So let's say I wanted the age, because earlier I said I also want their age. So I could be like input enter your age, and then print out your age. And let's say I run this. Now there's going to be a problem that's going to arise, but you might not, be thinking about it immediately. But let's show you that this will still work. At least for now, it will work. So yeah, enter name, yeah, Steve Venn. School, alright, let's use a different school this time. Hard Knocks. Age, let's say I am 33. Okay, and it prints out the age just fine. Now you might be like, okay, what's the problem? The problem is, suppose I use the age now to do like calculations. I don't know. Let's say I want to use my age in some calculation. Let's say I want to do some calculation with my age. So I'm going to go like age next year. Let's say I want to calculate when my age will be next year, my birthday. So I'm like age next year. Let's call that a new variable, age next year. My age next year. My age next year. Actually, yeah, my new age. Let's say I want to calculate how old I'd be in like a year or 5 years. Right? If I go age plus 5, the question that I have to ask you is, what's going to happen here? Do you think that this is going to actually work? No, I'm going to tell you right after that it won't, but I want you to pause the video and just think for a minute why it probably wouldn't work. And when you do, you can come back. Alright, so the answer is that this is actually going to give you an error. This is actually going to give you an error. And you might be like, why? Well, let's show you. Let me show you why. Let me show you why it's going to give you an error. What happens when I print out this statement? Let's say I were to print out my new age in 5 years will be, in 5 years is, right? And if I were to run this, you would think that, okay, if I entered like a random age, add 5 to it and everything will be okay. No, it won't. But let's just show you. So Stephen Hard Knocks age, let's say I'm 27 now, right? But oops, I get an error. What's happening? Why did I get the error? The reason why I got the error is because remember that this plus sign the Python has can be used to concatenate strings, but it's also used to add numbers. But because we have a string for our age, it's trying to concatenate that string that we have to our age with the number 5, which is why I'm getting this type error. Now, you might be like, well, why is that happening? By default, when we use input, input only works on strings. So, if I use strings, it's fine, no problem. And just to prove it to you, if I were to go like this and convert this, this is 5 here, into like a string, and then run this again, I won't get the error, but I'll get a weird age. So let's say my name, let's say again, so I'm going to enter this stuff again, you know, Hard Knocks, yeah, whatever. Let's say my age is 24. I get 245 as my age. And clearly, that's not a real age. Nobody lives for that long. And the reason why that's happening is because, as I said before, this age here is a string, and this 5 here is now also a string, so it's trying to join them because of this plus sign here. And by default, when you have strings before a plus sign, Python is going to immediately try to join them together and try to concatenate whatever else comes after it, which is not right. So to fix this, we have to do some typecasting. So the age now really should be an integer. So we have to do some typecasting. Now in my other videos I talk about that a little bit. But basically Python has like special data types, like primitive data types that we can use, and one of them happens to be int. And what we do here is in front of this input, to get the age to be an integer that we can actually use, is we go int like this, and then open bracket, take in the input, and then close bracket. And this should fix our problem. And now if you take out the strings from after the 5, take out the quotation marks around the 5, make it into an integer again, this should work. Just to show that it works, enter your name. I'm just going to enter a random name because I don't really care. School, random, yeah, age. Let's say age is 55, I should be 60, and there you go, it works. So now you see that it works, and this is exactly what you'd have to do if you want to use like basically number types with input. You have to cast the type that you want to use. So if you're using an integer, you have to cast it. If you want to use a float, you have to do some typecasting. Same thing with doubles. Okay, and that about wraps up this tutorial on Python input and output. Hopefully this tutorial was helpful to you. It made sense, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Bye, and see you next time.